Rock and roll. Kia ora, everybody. What's up? It's Robett. Robett Live. Live at 5. Robett Live. Hope day's gone good. Hope you've done some good stuff. Comment below with where are you watching this right now? Where are you right now? Where are you? What are you doing? Are you in the car? You're at home? You're at the office? You're walking? You listen to this later? So many opportunities. So many options. Today I've got to say sorry. Today, as you can see from behind me, it says I'm a hypocrite. I think I've spelled that right. I'm a hypocrite because I always talk about, don't judge a book by its cover. And, I always find it funny when I roll it like a mellow black t-shirt and cruise around looking like a security guard, and then no one knows I'm actually either doing shit or whatever it is. Because I got two stories. I'll weave them in so you won't know who's who. Then I would feel less bad about actually saying the conversation. So, for years in the game, there's been a guy that's name's popped around for ages. Let's call him John. You go, John. Okay, John. He's been in the game for ages and really well known. Blah blah blah. Fingers lots of pies, and I'd always heard of him, but never really sort of connected and shit, right? And we're at a big awards dinner, and I went up to him and I was like, "Oh, hey, bro, what's up?" Like, oh, what's up? And he kind of fobbed me off. It's probably the nice way to say it. He was, hey, what's up? You're cool, and just kind of glazed over me. He made me feel like shit. He kind of didn't acknowledge me really as a human, and I think it felt like he was so too cool that he couldn't even say what's up. Like, it wasn't even like a rude. It was sort of like, I'm better than you. Don't waste my time. Who the hell are you? Stuff you. Right. This is like a while ago. Like, I was still coming up in the chain, so I was still meeting people and bits of people. Anyway, I got a real bad. I had a really bad interaction with him, and then basically from there, I'm like, this guy's an asshole. Stuff this dude, right? This guy's a flipping dick. And I never got to see him. And like, obviously, he's very well known. Everyone knows his name. Blah blah. So whatever. And in the last year, randomly we got to connect up, and I got to spend one-on-one time with him virtually. Obviously, COVID, live shit, talking through whatever else. And he was nothing like what I thought at all, like absolutely nothing. And anyway, we get into it and blah blah. And I actually had mentioned towards the end, like, because I always feel like I have to just like up front and just like if shit's going down and I ring someone to talk about shit's going down, I tell them everything before I even get them the chance to speak, so I don't feel bad. I can feel like at least I've been authentically me to my feeling about this other situation, so I don't feel like an asshole or feel like I'm making it. So anyway, get to him and I was like, bro, I just got to be straight up, man. Like, you probably don't even remember this, but years ago at this, this awards, we sort of met and the vibe was real off, and I just kind of thought you were a cock. And he goes, what awards? And I'm like, oh, blah blah blah, whatever. And he goes, dude, that night, is this the one down at the spot? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, bro, man. And he basically went on this rant about how some shit was going on, some stuff, and he just got blackout drunk and just kind of blacked out, and he actually, after I'd seen him, basically bailed off and drank. So he told me the story then, but it was so funny because basically some shit was going on. He just got wasted at this party. I roll up to him, some flipping like young buck, like, hey man, just like come and say hi and like introduce myself, like, hey, good to see you, blah blah. And he just doesn't even remember any of it. So what I'm thinking is like, here's me meeting this like weapon, then blah blah whatever, and being the grom, and dude just blacked out, wasted. And I didn't even, because he was just like, whatever. But so he not only just didn't even remember meeting me, he doesn't even remember a bunch of that shit. So he was just blacked out. And then what was bad is I felt kind of bad. Then all of a sudden I was like, dude, wait a second. You're like, because he's actually a flipping good bastard. But for years I thought he was a cock because of just one interaction that I'd had with him. And the danger with lots of that stuff is you have one interaction, And this other little story I just want to quickly get into is I was, and I have been one of the head judges for the, I can say it, the High Tech Awards. I've been one of the head judges for the High Tech Awards for, I think, like 4, 5, 6 years now, maybe. Anyway, a couple of years ago, I even forget what year it was, we'd do the video interviews. They all pop up. They say the thing. And dude gets up, and I can say it's a dude. And before he even started, he was just sort of like quiet and sort of sitting there just like just not saying anything, just like real, just like dead, flat, nothing. And in my head, as soon as I looked at him, And I looked at like the energy of what this was. I'm like, this dude is flipping stuffed. Like, what's this guy up to? You know, and I, in my head, I'm like, total write-off, absolute waste of space. What's he flipping up to? Like just everything, right? And in my head, this is what I told myself. Anyway, we get to the end of the interview, and I was so off. It was insanely articulate, ridiculously well thought out. Like just the cultural awareness for so much different stuff was at a higher level. Like leadership wise, one of the most highest, real good quality humans that you could flip and tell through, even through virtually. And we get to the end, and I just jump, like he goes off. I jump in first. I'm like, hey team, I just want to say, I feel like an absolute piece of shit right now, because what happens to me a whole bunch that I've always felt, which is when, you know, I'll roll up in a t-shirt and a beanie, saying what's up, talking shit, blah, 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 blah. I know when I'm getting judged, and I know what that feels like to get judged, and I know what that feels like with what they think I am. And one of the funnest, best things that I love is when I want them to have this perception of what they think I am. I'm like, oh, just whatever that is, to the reality is so far disconnected. And then at the end of it, so many times those people who judge me like that, I know they then feel like shit for it. And it sounds horrible to say, but I love it when they feel like shit for judging me, because I'm like, stuff you guys, don't judge a book by its cover. And as I'm then saying this, I'm telling the other judges, I did what people have done to me that have made me feel like shit, which I've done, I did to him. And then a couple of hours like, I actually did the same thing, and I just front foot it. And so the point being is, it's not just judging the book by its cover, but you don't even know what's going on in their world, and you don't know the depth of where they've actually been to, the conversations they can have, the experiences that they have, the knowledge that they actually have, and more. And so a lot of times, you know, the classic will be old people. People just write off old people, a bunch of old people. Nah, man, old people have done some shit. Old people were your age. Yes, the worlds were different, but they did dumb shit. They thought of things differently. They've got stories. They've got learnings. You never know who's who. And one of the probably one of the most powerful people I've ever met, when I first met him, he looked flipping homeless. Unshaven, scraggly, flipping hoodie on, like just like pants just doing his shit. Dude looks straight up homeless. Oh, you're the CEO of that $1 billion thing. Classic. That's interesting. But I judged him. I mean, I didn't care. I was just like, oh, he's just one of the boys talking shit, whatever. And it turns out, oh, wait, what? What? So we all do it. We all do it. We all become, unfortunately, we're all hypocrites at times. I've done it. I've done it a bunch of times. Like, and it feels bad, because then afterwards you feel like an asshole, because they're actually like totally not what you thought. So it's happened to me. I think it's kind of funny at this point, because if you're doing that, it's like, whatever, we have another conversation. But even me, who that happens to, I still did to, I've done to several people. First impressions, but you don't get depth. You get width, but not depth. So the challenge that I'd have for you, and what maybe is good, the one thing I potentially have on my side now is, after so many years of creating so much content, unfortunately, sorry if you don't like it. If you hate it, just scroll on. Sorry, and scroll on. Is the amount of stuff that I've done for so long. There's so much depth now with the amount of shit that I've done, that you really actually get to know, probably, I'd like to think, who I am, how I roll, what I like, what I don't like, how I talk, how I act, what I look like, what I dress, what I think about certain things, what I believe about certain things. And it feels like now, at least especially with long form like this, there's more depth, which is probably good. So to wind up, don't ever judge a book by its cover, but if you're going to judge a book, actually read the book. Yeah. If you're going to judge a book, read the book first. Actually, judge the book, read the book, and then see if your book review is similar to what you thought the front page was. Most of the time, it's not. But if it happens to the best of us, it happens to all of us. We judge everyone. We're all a bunch of judgy bastards. So that was my thing for the day. So John, sorry, John, and other guy, old mate, John, and then everyone else, John, people John me, whatever. And yeah. People are a lot smarter than you think. People are a lot more different than you think. Until you read the book, don't just judge the cover. Robett live at 5. Robett live. See you soon, team. Hey, good banter. Like it. Oh, actually, so comment below with, what is the most interesting person you've ever met? When you met them from the first time, that was way different. Like, oh yeah, I sat next to some chick on the bus and she just looked like Mallow. And the next thing you know, yeah, she's some like NASA space astronaut or some shit. Oh yeah. Met this person on the bus and I thought, at this party and I thought they were like whatever. Turns out, oh yeah, classic. The dude's a fucking billionaire. Oh, classic. The guy actually this. Oh, he actually is knighted. Oh, everyone's got those stories. So that's a challenge. Comment below with your perception and the reality. Oh, I met this person. I thought they were things. Reality is ... And the same can go if they're having a bad day and whatever else as well. So don't just, read the book before you judge the cover.